The Roman Empire feared nothing, but one legion vanished, without a trace, no bodies, no battlefield, no survivors. This is the mystery of the Ninth Legion. 5,000 trained Roman soldiers, gone forever. They were elite. They fought in wars across the empire from Gaul to Spain to Britain, but in the cold lands of the north, something went wrong, very wrong. The Ninth marched into the highlands. They never came back. No letters, no signals, only silence. What happened? Some say they were ambushed, surrounded by thousands of angry tribes, fighting until the last man. Others say they rebelled, tired of war, tired of Rome, and they ran. A few believe they were sent east, to die in another war, far from home. But there's one more theory, that Rome erased them, covered up their defeat, destroyed the records, to protect their pride. Because if Rome could lose a legion, it could lose control. Archaeologists found clues, broken weapons, lost Roman coins, and graves, far from Roman forts, but no final proof. So the Ninth became legend, a ghost army, still marching in the mist, their fate still unknown, but their story will never be forgotten. Rome didn't conquer the world by accident. It built something powerful, something terrifying, the Roman war machine. At the center of it, the legion, 5,000 men, one mind, one purpose, total domination. Each soldier trained for years, not just to fight, but to obey. Orders were law. Hesitation meant death. Their weapons, deadly, short swords for close combat, pylon spears to break enemy lines, heavy shields to form a human wall. Their formations, precise, brutal, unstoppable. Testudo, the tortoise formation. Shields locked, arrows bounced off. They marched for days, fought without fear, built forts overnight, and destroyed anything in their way. The Ninth Legion was no different. They were veterans. They crushed rebellions. They built roads. They burned cities. They were Rome's hammer, trusted, feared, respected. But even they could fall. That's what makes their disappearance so shocking. How could such a powerful force just vanish? No army should be able to defeat them, not in the wilds of Britain, not without a trace, unless something else happened. The Ninth Legion was strong, but Rome wanted more. More land, more control, more power. The order was clear. Push north, into the wild highlands, into enemy territory. No walls, no roads, no Roman law, only mist, mountains, and enemies hiding in the trees. The Caledonian tribes ruled here, fierce warriors, masters of ambush. They knew the land, the rivers, the forests. The Ninth marched anyway, thousands of men, armor shining, banners raised. They left from York, and disappeared into the mist. Days passed, no word, no scouts returned, no signal fires. Rome waited, nothing. Weeks, still silence. A full legion, gone. No battle report, no survivors, only rumors. Had they been trapped, surrounded, wiped out? Some say it was a massacre, an ambush so fast, so brutal that no one escaped. Others believe it was a trap. The tribes united. They lured the Ninth deep into the hills, and then closed in. The Romans fought hard, but they were outnumbered, outmatched, and far from help. It wasn't just a battle. It was a slaughter. Some say a few survived, but ran, hiding, too ashamed to return. Or maybe they were captured, forced to live among the tribes, their Roman life gone forever. One thing is certain. After that mission, the Ninth was never seen again. Rome was built on power, but it also survived on silence. When the Ninth Legion vanished, the empire said nothing. No announcement, no report, no mourning. Why? Because losing a legion was not just a military failure. It was a threat to the empire's image. Rome had enemies everywhere, and weakness invited attack. So the politicians acted fast. Erase the records. Bury the story. Pretend the Ninth never existed. The Senate stayed quiet. Generals looked the other way. The emperor said nothing. That emperor was Hadrian. He had just taken power. He didn't want chaos. He wanted control. So he changed the plan. He stopped Rome's expansion. He ordered a massive wall to seal off the north. Hadrian's Wall, a message to the tribes. Come no further. But it was also a message to Rome's enemies. We are still strong. Inside the empire, some questioned it. Why stop now? Why give up land? But Hadrian knew the truth. The Ninth Legion was gone, and Rome couldn't afford to lose another. There are whispers that Hadrian knew everything, that he chose to keep it secret, to protect Rome's image, to protect his own rule. A lost legion could destroy a career. The Ninth Legion wasn't just soldiers, they were people, fathers, sons, brothers, men far from home, living in a land that wasn't theirs. They brought Rome with them. Laws, language, temples, baths, they built forts, but also families. Some married local women, some raised children in the shadow of Roman walls. Some never expected to return to Rome, but tension was always there. To the native tribes, Rome meant control, taxes, punishment, chains. To the Romans, the tribes meant danger, fear, revolt. The Ninth lived in the middle, every day, a mix of routine and risk. Train, guard, patrol, sleep with a dagger near your bed. Some embraced Britain, others hated every moment. Letters from soldiers speak of cold rain, rotten food, loneliness, and the constant threat of ambush. But there were friendships too, between soldiers, between Romans and locals. Some say that after the Ninth disappeared, a few survived, and chose not to return. They joined the tribes. They started new lives. They became part of the land. Could this be true? Could some Roman blood still flow in the north? We may never know. But we do know this. The Ninth was not just a fighting force. It was a community. A world now lost, buried under soil, and sealed in silence. Every empire has a moment when the balance shifts. For Rome, that moment came in the north. The loss of the Ninth Legion changed everything. One legion gone, thousands of Rome's best erased. It wasn't just a military loss. It was a shock to the empire's soul. Rome was supposed to be unstoppable, invincible, eternal. But now doubt had crept in. Was the empire overextended? Was Britannia too wild to control? Had Rome reached its limit? Emperor Hadrian thought so. He stopped the advance. He built a wall. He gave up the dream of total conquest. That was the turning point. From expansion to defense, from glory to survival, Rome began to pull back. Not just in Britain, but everywhere. It was a slow shift, quiet but powerful. The disappearance of the Ninth showed the world that even Rome could bleed. And from that wound came fear. Fear in the Senate, fear among the people, fear in the hearts of Rome's enemies and Rome's allies. The tribes grew bolder. The borders became unstable. Revolts spread. The fall didn't happen overnight. But the silence after the Ninth, that was the beginning. Sometimes history changes with a bang, other times with a whisper. And when the Ninth Legion vanished, Rome started to fade. The Ninth Legion disappeared, but its shadow remained. Across centuries, the question echoed, what happened to them? Writers wondered, poets imagined, historians searched. Because this wasn't just about a lost army, it was about Rome itself. If one legion could vanish, what else could fall? Hadrian's wall became a monument, not to strength, but to fear, a line drawn in stone, saying no further. The tribes beyond the wall never forgot. The Romans inside never felt safe again. The empire slowed, shifted, staggered, and over time it cracked. The legend of the Ninth spread across Europe, a symbol of mystery, of failure, of pride, and loss. Writers like Tacitus hinted at the truth. Archaeologists dug through the mud, finding fragments, swords, names carved in stone, but never the full story. Some say they were ambushed, others say they rebelled. Some even believe they marched away and never looked back. The truth still missing, but the impact felt for centuries. Every lost empire leaves a lesson. The Ninth Legion's lesson was simple. No power is eternal. No army is unbeatable. No story is ever fully erased. They may be gone, but their silence changed Rome forever. The Ninth Legion vanished, but they were never forgotten. Their story became myth. Whispers in the wind, tales told by firelight. Some say they still march, ghosts in armor, lost in the mists of the highlands. Others believe they survived, changed their names, lived among the tribes, children born from Roman blood, grew up not as conquerors, but as part of the land. Historians debate, books are written, movies made, but the truth remains buried, and maybe that's how legends live, not in answers, but in questions, not in facts, but in wonder. Tourists visit Hadrian's Wall, walk the old forts, touch the stones, and ask, what happened here? The ninth is not just history, they are mystery, they are memory, a symbol of bravery, of failure, of fate. The empire that sent them is gone, but their name still echoes, in books, in songs, in dreams. The ninth marched into the unknown, and in doing so, became eternal.